If you're new to Topspin 2K, things can be quite unforgiving. The mechanics are quite tricky to get the hang of right off the bat. Today's video, I'm gonna run through the basics of Topspin 2K, things like timing, what each shot does, and even where to stand to help you guys get the grips of the game. Let's get to it. Before you even get started in Topspin 2K, I highly advise going through every lesson in the Topspin Academy. Yes, they may seem a little bit dull, but each lesson is pretty valuable if you want to understand the core mechanic. Anyway, timing. Learning how to time shots perfectly in Topspin is the most important thing you need to master if you want to win games or even compete against the better players. Perfectly timed shot gives you more power, depth and angle, which are essential for hitting winners. This is a skill that does take time to master, but the more you play and the more balls you hit, you will get used to it eventually. Trust me. To know when to release or press the button, put it in your mind that it's a lot later than you think. You need to be releasing the button just before the ball makes contact with your racket, maybe like just like a little, maybe like half a second, not even that, like literally right before it's about to hit your racket. Now in Topspin, there's two main type of shots you want to be hitting. That's control shots and power shots. Control shots are shots that you should be doing, I'd say, most of the time. It's shots that I use the most. These shots are a little bit weaker but burn less stamina, which is crucial in longer rallies and longer matches. Perfectly timed control shot provides the best angle with your shots, making your opponent run all over the court, leaving space for you to shoot powerful winners on the other side. To perform a control shot, no holding of the button is needed. All you got to do is simply tap the button and that sort of bullseye symbol pops up, meaning that it's going to be a control shot. As I said before, to get a perfect control shot, you should be tapping the button almost just as soon as the ball is about to hit your racket. Now let's move on to something unbalanced in the game: power shots. If you can master power shots, it's quite overpowered in the game right now. So if you know when to use them, how to use them, you can easily become quite unstoppable in this game. A perfectly timed power shot makes your character swing the ball as hard as possible, sending the ball flying in the air, which is tough for your opponent to defend, leading to openings in other parts of the court. However, relying on power shots is a bit risky. If your stats and stamina are quite low, a mistimed power shot will often end up in the net. So I wouldn't rely on power shots all the time. To perform a power shot, all you gotta do is hold down one of the ground stroke buttons until you see that red power symbol. Then your player becomes Superman and smashes the ball whatever side of the court you put it. Again, these shots are the most important in the game, I would say. If you can master power shots, then boy oh boy, you're gonna be getting wins very, very quickly. Now we're gonna be going over three main type of ground strokes you need to be using. I'm gonna go through each one, what they actually mean, and when and where you should use them. Firstly, flat shots. Flat shots, as you should know, are used by holding A on PlayStation, holding or tapping A on Xbox and X on PlayStation. Flat shots are direct, fast shots with little to no spin at all. You should really be using them when there's the clear open angle for you to attack. Partnering a flat shot with a power shot is quite crazy in this game. So if you can master that, then you're going to be causing a few troubles on the court. However, as I said, flat shots are aggressive and fast, meaning that they can lead to a lot more errors as the ball's traveling quite low, so they can hit the net quite often if they're mistimed. I'd say you should avoid using flat shots when you're in a defensive position or on the back foot, as it can lead to a lot more errors. Even if you execute a perfect flat shot when you're returning a big serve or a big shot, you have less time to recover for your opponent's next shot. Topspin shots. It's in the name of the game, and this shot should always be your #1 go-to shot in longer rallies. To perform a control shot, as you should know, circle on PlayStation or B on Xbox. But what are topspin shots? Topspin shots have a lot of forward spin on it, causing the ball to dip sharply and then bounce high, pushing your opponent way back behind the baseline or to the sides of the court. They're the most versatile and consistent shot as the ball goes high above the net and still lands quite deep in the court. Topspin shots are also great when returning serves and when in defensive positions, as they can also slow the ball speed down, giving you more time to react and get into position. As to whether go with a power topspin shot or a control topspin shot, I did a poll on my channel and 68% of people use more power topspin shots than control. Me personally, I prefer doing control topspin shots as I feel like you're able to get better angle on your shots. But when you guys play, experiment with both shots and see which one works for you. Now, something that I don't see a lot of new players using, slice shots. To perform a slice shot, all you gotta do is hold or press square on PlayStation or X on Xbox. Slice shots have a lot of backspin, making the ball float and stay low after bouncing. Slice shots are used best to slow down the pace of the game. So say if your opponent is smashing down a bunch of hard shots, if you do a little light slice shot, it can sometimes disrupt your opponent's rhythm. As you could believe, they're very effective in defensive play, and also incorporating slice shots into rallies just mixes things up, keeps your opponent guessing. Slide shots can also be used when approaching the net. This is a bit of a harder skill to learn. I'll probably touch on this more in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about aiming shots and where to actually place your shots. If you want to beat the top players, I'd say almost every shot you want to play is to aim deep in the court. Aiming deep pushes your opponent further back on the court, limiting their ability to step into their shots and produce powerful returns at you. It also gives you a little bit more control on each point, so you can dictate the play. To hit deep shots, you need to be aiming your left stick up as you're hitting the ball. As I said before, the better you time this shot, the more accurate and deeper it will go. A perfectly timed deep shot can go as far as clipping the edge of the baseline, making it difficult for your opponent to return. But where should you be placing these deep shots? Well, you got three options. You could aim them cross court. Cross courts are shots that you place in the corner diagonally opposite to you. These are shots that you need to be hitting, I'd say 80% of the time, I'll be real, as it's the biggest space that you can hit your ball. Instead of firing shots at the open court at every opportunity, starting rallies with deep cross-court shots, creating an angle on the other side to hit your winner. To perform a cross-court deep shot, all you gotta do is, say if you're on the left side of the court, you'd aim your left stick diagonally right as you're hitting the shot. Using a topspin shot here, I'd say, is most effective. It creates much more angle than a flat shot or a slice shot. Now, you can also fire shots down the line. Down the line shots are quite aggressive shots that are used to surprise your opponents, because you're hitting the ball in the closest place to you and the furthest place from your opponent. These shots work best when your opponent is out of position, like as I said, after hitting a wide cross-court shot. To perform a down the line shot, so say again, if you are on that left side, all you gotta do is push your left stick diagonally up to the left. Flat shots are the most effective to use here. These shots need to be the most aggressive shots, limiting your opponent's opportunity to get to the ball. Something I also rarely see from new players is hitting the ball straight down the middle. A deep shot in the middle or to the opponent's body reduces your opponent's ability to attack angles and aggressive wide shots. This also, I feel like also shots down the middle sort of surprises players, as the timing is a bit different that sometimes throws people off. Slice and topspin shots work the best here. All you gotta do, as you could believe, as you probably guessed, is just hold that left stick up in the middle. When you're playing, you should always keep things varied, keep your opponent guessing. Just don't go cross court. Don't just go down the line. Keep switching things up every point, also every point, every game, as I feel like this will give you the upper hand to win more games. I haven't touched on drop shots, as this shot is a little bit harder to do. I'll touch on that also in a future video, so again, stay tuned and subscribe for that. Now, let's talk about where you should be standing. It may seem basic, but I have seen a lot of new players either streaming the game or just players that are playing against not knowing where they need to be standing. Generally, you should always be standing behind the baseline. Standing in front of the baseline is really for attacking only, or when you're played a really short ball. But in neutral rallies, staying behind the baseline gives you more time to hit deeper and powerful shots. So where you stand on the court largely depends on where your opponent is positioned. More often than not, you should be mirroring where your opponent stands. So for example, if your opponent is hitting shots from the right side of the court, you should be pushing yourself on the opposite side of the court to mirror them. Mirroring your opponent positions yourself in the middle of your opponent's most dangerous shots, right? Which are either down the line or cross court. This position allows you to cover the court efficiently. Let's dive into serving. So this is something in the game that is quite challenging, even for experienced players, as the mechanics did change from the last game, Topspin 4. There is two types of serving, advanced and I guess simple. I don't know what the other one's called. Advanced serving is a little bit harder to understand. I'll cover that separately in a different video. Timing it and aiming is the most difficult part. Aiming the serve is nothing like ground strokes at all. You don't need to force the left stick up, right, left, none of that. Instead, when you begin your serve, you gotta be gently pushing that stick to move that cursor where you want it to be. And when you find that perfect spot, you have to hold the stick in that area. It is quite a lot to do at once, but you'll just get the hang of it as you play more and more. A lot of players like me have found that slice serves are the most effective that you need to master, especially aiming serves out wide. Aiming your serves here pushes the ball far wide and off the court as possible, leaving the opposite side open for an easy flat shot winner. Timing your serve correctly means it'll be the most powerful and offer the most accuracy. Best cue to use when timing your serve is when you hold the button down for a serve. You should be releasing it when the ball is at its highest point. Obviously, it depends on which serving animation you use. Each one is different. But I'd say when the ball's at the highest point, that's when you should be releasing your button to let the serve rip. That basically rounds off this beginner guide. I've kept things sort of broad and basic as of right now, and then in future videos, if you like this one, I'll be doing more tutorials on each aspect of the game. But yeah, man, it's been good. This is my first time doing like a tutorial sort of video, so let me know, guys, if you found that helpful. If you didn't, also I know a lot of my subscribers are quite experienced in this game, so if you somehow watched this whole video and you've been here before and you know Topspin, put some tips in the comment section if I've missed any, or tips that you know to help players. Keep it real, keep it positive, and I'll chat to you in the next one.